Our story begins with images of a futuristic city, but suddenly the city's central building is blacked out, and we go to a car accident. The screen goes black too. Then a window of a room appears with lights piercing the darkness, and a model of the same futuristic city appears in the center of the room. Architect wakes up with a strange feeling and sees that the image of the woman in his photograph is fragmented. Then as he looks at the things around, he sees that they suddenly disappear in the form of darkness, which makes him panic and run out of his apartment in fear. When he tries to explain this situation to a man he comes across, he is startled to see that the man is also in black pieces. He quickly goes out into the street and stares at his building, which is also black with missing pieces. Worse than that, the entire city is in disarray. The roads are crooked, and buildings, cars, objects, and even living things are missing. When Architect visualizes the missing parts of a building he comes across, he sees that the black gaps are filled and the building becomes complete again. At this moment, a black creature on a building catches his eye with the creepy sound he hears. The creature jumps from the building to the road, runs towards him quickly, and just as it is about to hit him, an explosion occurs. Architect opens his eyes and sees three strangers lifting him up. The creature is torn to pieces but not dead. One of the strangers hits the street pole with superhuman strength and knocks it onto the creature. Then they start running away. They come to the end of a street staircase, but the street is completely missing. Architect glides as if falling from a cliff with the push of the strangers. The strangers come right after him and continue on their way through the crowded market square. Architect, in shock, runs with the strangers passing through the shattered buildings and streets. All three strangers jump into the gap in front of them and pass to the building above with the change of gravity. Architect is stunned, but when he sees the creature after him, he desperately does the same. Though his jump lands him right on the edge of the building, the strangers help him, and when the creature is about to jump after them, Phantom, who shoots it and makes it fall, is injured in the hand by the creature's claw blow. When they exit the building, they see the creature jumping onto the road and they hide behind a wall. One of the group takes a bomb from his bag and runs towards the creature. The bomb explodes and scatters the pieces of the creature around, but it remains hanging. The creature is not completely destroyed. Phantom tells the others to move forward. The other person in the group, Fly, continues to run away crying because of their friend's sacrifice. An Architect follows them after seeing the creature's pieces starting to come back together. They are about to cross from one street to another, and Architect asks them who they are and where they are going, but doesn't get an answer. As they continue walking along the highway, Phantom bandages his injured hand. Architect asks Fly, trying to understand what happened, so she tells him that he is in a coma. Everything around are memories of people in coma, and that they end up in the same place, because the human brain in coma behaves similar to radio receiving signals. They pass under a bridge suspended in the air. As Architect asks, Fly says that people on the street are also memories. She heals Architect's wound on his face as if she has a special power. Meanwhile, Phantom shouts at Fly angrily and tells her to check the area to see if it's safe. They get ready to go to the campus above. They get into an old bus, and as Architect walks towards the back, he sees that they pass into a place full of people that is not visible from the outside. Fly says that this is a wormhole, a memory gap, which happens because memories are all mixed up. As soon as they land, a woman named Spirit asks them where Pilot is and receives a cold reply from Phantom that he is dead. Phantom then immediately complains that the path drawn by Astronomer was wrong. Jan, the leader of the community, asks Fly to show the new guests around, which does not please Phantom. The crowd disperses. Fly explains that they have blasted all directions to this base, but the base still exists as everyone here remembers it. This is how they got rid of the creatures they call Reapers. She says that Jan always talks about this being an island free of Reapers. Architect says that he does not remember his name. Fly tells him that this is normal, that he should sleep, eat, and then get stronger like in their world. Also talks about the portal-like passages in rooms that open to another place. Tells that these are the dreams of the person who stays in that room, that they appear when they sleep. She shows Architect his room. Architect falls asleep and sees in his dream a vision of a city. Him on the road entering a hospital building, and finally a car accident with a woman next to him. When he wakes up, he sees that the same portal has formed in his room too, and the car in his dream formed upside down. There is even his own body in the car. As Architect walks towards the portal, he is startled by the voice of Phantom who comes to his room. The man tells him not to go in it with his rude and uncaring attitude, says that dreams can be tricky. There can be no entrance or exit there. Although he acts friendly at first, he immediately says that he is also responsible for the discipline here. He arrogantly orders Architect to get up and go out. Everyone is gathered around. Phantom pushes Architect to the middle and explains that some people in Coma develop special abilities according to their talents. For example, Spirit can sense reapers from a distance. Astronomer can draw maps. He says that the person needs to be pushed a little bit for the talent to emerge and asks Gnome to throw a piece of iron with a machine and catches it in the air. They try the same thing on Architect, but he falls to the ground. Phantom makes fun of him and they do it once more. Architect falls again. Phantom asks Gnome to bring the big tool they shaped. When he sees Architect fall to the ground again with the blow he receives, he gets angry, takes control, and hits Architect hard with the tool. Architect finally seems to form a line around him, but Yan, seeing that he cannot respond, leaves from there. Phantom stops and tells Architect that he can help their workmanship responsible Cable. We see that the Reapers are watching over the base in the dark of night, but the community has blown up all the roads leading there and continues to do so. Architect dreams again, but this time there are more details about the hospital, as if someone is forcing him to sleep, and he tries to escape and then crashes. He wakes up when someone from the community wakes everyone up for the work to be done. He starts working with the others. Meanwhile, Phantom tells Cable that they will go to the submarine to get more explosives, makes fun of Architect by hitting him hard on the head, and wants him to continue working. Fly and Spirit go with him too. Cable tells Architect to go back to work. Jan from above states that time works differently when they are in a coma, that a few months here can be equivalent to a day in real life, and that someone can stay in this coma world for thousands of years. He also says that some people's talents can emerge when they go outside and face danger, and that this is how Phantom gains superhuman strength and speed, and that this is how he started to lead the teams. With Jan's encouragement, Architect goes to Phantom and says that he wants to go with them. Phantom tells him that he is still a rookie and that he should know his place, but when Jan confirms that he can go, he has to accept this. The 8-person team passes the old bus and continues on. The bodies of the horses around are missing. The positions of the huge statues are scattered. The astronomer is guiding them by drawing the route they will take on his map. While he is talking to Architect about his theory of being able to enter dreams and come back to reality, Phantom gets angry at them and reminds what Jan said about entering dreams being dangerous. At this time, Spirit senses Reapers nearby. Astronomer, looking at the creatures on the opposite cliff, calms his friends by saying that they are 2 days away. Phantom is not happy with that and says that they should continue. They finally arrive at the entrance to their destination. Gnome gives Architect a bomb that emits a sonic frequency, telling him that it attracts the Reapers and blows them up. Cable tells him to be careful when they enter, because as this submarine base is his memory, he says that he remembers the guards of this place as they shoot at strangers. Phantom is still arrogant, ordering the rest of the group to follow him, and they enter through a pipeline. While Spirit enters the mind of one of the soldiers of memory, Phantom comes up behind and kills him. They move forward and hide from the other soldiers. Cable shows them the entrance. Phantom impatiently rushes forward and throws a bomb at the soldiers on the opposite road. The base's alarm goes off and more soldiers rush there, shooting where they are, and they are forced to respond. Phantom easily defeats several soldiers because of his power. Astronomer, who was shot in the fight, asks his friend named Tank to throw a bomb. Tank throws it and narrowly saves the bomb from gravity and drops it at the soldiers. Phantom happily destroys the soldiers as if he were playing a game. Then he says he is going up and asks Tank to protect him. When he gets there, he kills the soldiers and even throws their cars down the road with his power. Tank, who thinks that the surroundings are calm, is hit by a bullet fired by 2 other soldiers and falls to the ground. While Spirit enters the soldiers' minds and deceives them, Astronomer takes out the soldiers. Fly goes to Tank and heals his injured leg with his strength. While Gnome quickly tries to hack the base's entrance with his computer, Phantom is beating another soldier while mocking him, but Astronomer shoots the soldier dead and shouts at Phantom, saying that he will draw all the Reapers here. Phantom angrily grabs Astronomer by the throat and says that he is in charge here. Just as he threatens to tear him in half if he shouts again, Gnome tells them that he managed to open the door. They go inside and Cable says that they can take one of the torpedoes. While lifting it with the help of a lever, Fly, who sees the bandaged hand of Phantom, wants to help him, but Phantom does not want it. Then Spirit feels something and gets up. Gnome, who is taking care of lifting the torpedo, sees 3 Reapers approaching them from a distance. Cable says that he needs another minute for the welding. As Reapers approach by jumping over the glaciers, Phantom orders only Gnome to hold the chains and orders the others to follow him escape. But Architect, who does not let go of the chain, tells the others not to let go. He then steps aside, puts his hands to his temples and starts thinking, as if he is trying to remember something. As he thinks, a drawing seems to appear and disappears. Phantom, who is impatiently angry because Architect did not listen to his orders, almost shoots him with a gun. But Spirit prevents him. The bullet hits the lever, and as the torpedo falls, Cable jumps on it, and at the last moment, he slides on the structure Architect created in his mind and dodges the explosion. They manage to get the torpedo to their base just before the Reapers get there. They are gathered around the fire, and Cable is telling what happened with great excitement. Phantom gets up and goes to Architect and asks for confirmation that he can build anything that can do bridges and walls, then says that it will be useful to their team. Jan intervenes and says that instead of finding an island, they can build such a structure thanks to Architect. He even says that they can set off immediately for this. He ignores Phantom, who says that they should discuss this among themselves first, and consults Astronomer about the route. He says that the bombs around are getting fewer, and they should escape from here before a Reaper sees them passing the bus sooner or later, and appoints Astronomer as the group leader. He reminds Phantom, who objects to this, that the group almost died because of his careless behavior today. They will set off tomorrow, and a great burden falls on Architect's shoulders. He cannot sleep at night and tries to create something through thought. When he is unsuccessful and angry, Fly comes to him. When Fly sees that he cannot create any peace, let alone an island, she gets worried, but tells Architect, who is about to give up, that he almost emerged a blueprint and asks him to try again. And this time Architect, who remembers the entire template in detail and pretends to draw it by hand, easily creates a model building. While Fly is staring at this with admiration, she says she wants to see the memories emerged in his room. When Fly asks about the woman in the car accident that Architect formed as a memory, Architect says that he does not remember, and that the life he has rebuilt here is more important to him anyway, and kisses Fly. Phantom, who is also interested in Fly, listens to them and holds his bandaged hand, bearing a bigger grudge against Architect now. The next day, Tank is warning everyone about what they need to do. While Astronomer is explaining the route to Jan and the others, Phantom secretly slips one of the frequency-emitting bombs into his pocket. The group led by Astronomer takes action when the time comes and gets out of the bus. Fly and Architect are holding hands. While the group happily chats, they stop when Spirit tells them that there are Reapers approaching. Astronomer says that they are taking a safe route where there are no Reapers, so it is impossible, but Spirit is sure about what she feels. They decide to split up and check the surroundings. Although Jan wants to keep Architect with him and not risk him, Phantom wants Architect to go exploring too. Architect moves through the fog with a gun in his hand. A Reaper nearby senses him. Phantom walks happily as if nothing is happening. Architect stops when he comes across a plane in the fog, turns around and sees a Reaper approaching quickly, and a gunshot is heard. When Architect opens his eyes, he sees Tank that says Jan sent him to help. They quickly get away before Reaper composes itself. When they reach the others, Phantom madly jumps on Architect and grabs the frequency bomb, and his wounded hand, which he unwrapped, seems to be turning him into a Reaper. Everyone realizes that he planted the bomb, putting everyone's life at risk. Just as Phantom is about to blame Jan for being responsible for everything, Jan shoots him with a gun, but instead of blood, a black liquid flows out, similar to Reapers. Phantom, who is not dead, runs away. Jan wants Astronomer to bring everyone in line. However, they are too late because a Reaper has already taken the life of Gnome. Another one is after Cable and catches him too. While the crowd starts to run away in panic, Architect is about to build a wall through thought, but Jan pulls him with him to get to the bus. When Phantom sees a Reaper approaching, he activates the frequency bomb, but the Reaper pretends that Phantom is one of them and ignores him. The rest of the group is cornered by the Reapers before they can catch up with Jan, who has already boarded the bus. When they start to run away in another direction, Architect sees a hole in the sky and everywhere is shining, and he staggers, his consciousness suddenly drifting away from where he is. When he opens his eyes, the first thing he sees is a photo of a historical structure. He is in a hospital hooked up to devices. He has woken up from a coma. His real-life experiences flash through his mind. In the car with his wife, Fly from the Coma world, They are going to a cult company that gave him the only positive response for a job interview. However, this cult has a bad reputation and is conducting experiments secretly. When they reach the entrance, the assistant of the cult leader tells him that only Architect can enter. Before Architect gets off, Fly gives him a device to protect himself. Architect follows the assistant throughout the hospital. Finally, he meets the cult leader, and we see that it is Jan from the Coma world. After examining Architect's project, he takes him to see the real work they do. He claims that the rumors outside are false and that they are doing groundbreaking work on Coma. However, when Architect sees that he is surrounded by nurses, he gets nervous, and when they are all about to jump on him, he destroys them with the electric gun Fly gave him and escapes outside. Seeing this, Fly crashes her car into the barrier to save him. But while she is driving in fear and trying to understand what is happening, they have an accident as a truck hits them from the side. Jan's assistant and soldiers arrive at the scene of the accident. After remembering all this, Architect wakes up and sits up, sees his real-life wife Fly lying next to him. Jan, who woke up in the same way right next to him, tells him that Fly has been in a coma for a few hours, and that in the Coma world, this would be a few months. He confesses that the structure he created under religious teachings was actually a cover-up in order to be able to conduct scientific studies that could be seen as unethical. He says that many civilizations have tried this, and that in the Coma world, they can create their own world using Architect's project and overcome all obstacles. He gives the example of Phantom, who is disabled in real life. Architect says that he is crazy and wants them to let him go. When Jan threatens him with taking the life of Fly, who is still in a coma and connected to devices, Architect agrees to go into a coma again and build that city for Jan, provided that they later let them go. Architect falls into a coma and wakes up in his room again. This time, the face of the woman standing next to him becomes clear in the photo on his desk because he now remembers that she is Fly. At that moment, Fly, Astronomer, Tank, and Spirit, who are stuck under a stone house, are throwing bombs at the Reapers approaching them, and their last bomb is left. Just then, they see that a bridge has formed as a template and crushed the Reaper thanks to its descending in. Architect catches up with them. Jan prepares to fall into a coma after Architect. In the meantime, Astronomer takes the others to where Jan wants to build the city. Architect tries to tell them the truth, but the others cannot make sense of it. In the meantime, Jan comes to them and says that this will no longer be of any use and tells Architect to start building. Architect closes his eyes and moves his hand as if he were drawing a picture, as if he were a conductor directing an orchestra. And as he does this, we see the city emerge. Bridges, buildings, and much more scatter around from Architect's memorization that he has preserved in every detail in his mind. After adding the last bridge to the perfect-looking city, he becomes weak and shaken. Finally, he says that he did what Jan wanted and asks him to let them go. Jan tells Spirit that in real life, she is a crazy person who constantly hallucinates. She has no one left after losing her child. Tank became an alcoholic and attacked people after losing his family. Astronomer is autistic and cannot even leave his house. Architect is far ahead of his time, even though he has great ideas. Even his wife does not support him. After all this, Spirit and Astronomer agree to stay in this Coma world, but Jan tells them that this will not be possible. He cannot let them in because he cannot risk them revealing to his followers how the city was really created in the first place. Even though they promise not to tell anyone about this, Jan, showing Tank whose body is falling apart, tells them that his nurses have been ordered to turn off the devices they are connected to in the real world. He says that the others will die the same way in a few minutes and walks towards his city. He burns the hand of Architect, who tries to stop him, and turns the gun of Astronomer into dust. While Fly heals Architect's hand, Architect gets up and asks Astronomer how Jan escaped from the Reapers before. When Astronomer says that it could be by entering dreams and finding his bearings, Architect understands that Jan told everyone not to enter dreams, not because it was actually dangerous there. They run straight to the base, but Spirit is too late, and she is destroyed like Tank. Jan follows them with concern when he sees the rest running somewhere. The rest of the devices have been turned off and they are running out of time. When they get to the bus, they see that the base is surrounded by Reapers. Architect says he has an idea and releases Gnome's device on a Reaper, and they enter the dream in Architect's room with the opportunity they find. Meanwhile, Fly sees that she is the driver in the memory of car accident. They enter the hospital building in the dream. When Architect says that this place is not as he remembers it, Astronomer says that this is normal and that dreams can get mixed up. They continue moving inside the building. The locations in all the rooms are mixed up. When Architect comes out from the other side of the building, he says that it is not as he remembers it. Then Astronomer tells him to search by details instead of directions. Then Architect, who remembers the historical patterns at the entrance from the photo in the hospital room, heads there. When he says that he found the place in the photo, we see that Astronomer also disappears. Meanwhile, they hear Jan's voice. The man sitting in the corner shows himself and congratulates Architect for finding this place from the photo in the hospital room. Architect tries to build a wall, but it doesn't work against Jan's power. He builds another wall over his head, but Jan, who notices this, grabs Architect by the throat. While he is bragging about his discovery on the Coma world that he will extend human life for thousands of years, a strike sound is heard and Jan's body disappears after being covered in black fluid like the Reapers. We see that one of the Reapers has approached Jan from behind and stabbed him in the back. The Reaper who did this leans over and looks at Architect, and then we understand from the hood that forms around his head that this is none other than Phantom. He shows them the exit point with his head. When they move forward, they see that the world around them fractures like glass. But at that moment, Fly's body is about to dissolve just like the others. Architect wakes up and saves Fly by removing her devices at the last moment. When the assistant and nurses enter the room and realize that Jan has failed, they try to save him. While Architect and Fly are leaving, one of the nurses wants to intervene, but the assistant prevents him. We see different images of the city. Architect is working on an ordinary project on the computer in his room. Fly asks him if there has been a response from any company for his project. Architect says that there hasn't been one yet, but since he won the contract, they won't have any financial problems for a long time. In the meantime, we learn from the TV news that all the cases against the cult founded by Jan were dropped due to lack of evidence, and that the cult continues its activities and increases its followers. In the meantime, Fly leaves the room and tells Architect that an envelope came to him, which she put on his desk. Architect says that he saw it and that it was something unimportant about old projects. But the envelope has the cult's symbol on it, and Architect puts the envelope in his drawer, locks it, and the story ends here.